I've kind of been caught in a lie. And it was kind of a good intentioned lie, you know, like when you hear about Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy or, you know, that the world is round. There was a reason behind it.
That guide the way here. That's the first one, is we want to provide users with authoritative, trustworthy information.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I only have a minute and a half, and I don't really need to hear what you're trying to provide. I want to know how you're dealing with all these conspiracy theorists on your platform.
So the first way is by demoting low-quality content and promoting more authoritative content, and the second is by providing more transparency for users. So we're introducing boxes that provide factual information at the top of results that have shown themselves to turn up a lot of information that is counterfactual, such as searching for the Earth is flat on YouTube, where you see a lot of...
Your response is to put a box saying, nope, the Earth is not flat.
Correct.
Okay.
Apollo 8, this is Houston. It's a good picture of the horizon. We can't see many terrain features as yet. Apollo 8, Houston, we're beginning to pick up a few craters very dimly. The whole thing is pretty bright. Roger, there's not much definition up here either out of the horizon. We're now approaching the craters. C is massive.
I was immediately moved to tears. My daughter said to me, "Why are you crying?" I said, "I'm not crying, I'm just humbled."
It was very cool because it was really big and you could lie underneath it and have photos where you hold it.
You come off the busy street and everyone just stops and there's like a sense of stillness as it's spinning around really slowly.
I just felt really like proud in a weird way as well.
All of your senses are involved.
It was amazing. You know, you come from normal life and then you get this little glimpse of something behind the door and then you walk into this amazing dark room.
My name is Luke Jerram and I'm the artist behind the Gaia Earth artwork. Humanity has been staring at the moon for 200,000 years. The moon has inspired so much music and mythology and literature in every culture right around the world. Whereas it's only been 50 years that humanity has been able to see our planet Earth, from space as a blue marble floating in the blackness of space.
I was so mesmerised by it.
It's quite awe-inspiring, really.
That mixture of fragility and strength that is there.
We were thinking about how small we were.
And it feels like I'm on the moon and I'm looking at the Earth.
It makes us wonder perhaps what we're doing to our world, what it'll be like for our children's children.
It's probably the first time that my son has seen the world in that sort of context. He doesn't understand yet, but he will one day.
It makes you feel very small. I think we need to save the world.
I'm hoping when people come and see this Earth artwork, they'll realise the beauty and the fragility of our planet, and that actually it's our only home and we really have to look after it.
If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon. Together, we can make real change happen.
We heard the Pope loud and clear. Caring for our common home became one of the 6 pathways of our strategic plan, Envisioning 2024. The University of San Diego adopted a comprehensive climate action plan in 2016. We are taking action in concrete ways at all levels of the university to create a truly shared and lived vision to do our most to heal our wounded planet.
This is our home, and God calls us to cherish it, to protect it, to marvel at its beauty and search out on the horizon as we search for God. And so the 4th UAP invites us to look and become aware of nature as it calls to us and gives us shelter. Witness, as we always have as the church, to building the home, not only the kingdom, but the home of God on this planet.
We are destroying Mother Earth continually, polluting it. And everything is related, in my understanding. After the encyclical of Pope Francis, Laudato Si, we have been so far thinking that I have to love God and love my neighbor. He has added a tripod, a third leg. You have to take care of Mother Earth.
Every time I hear this, particularly when I'm in United States, I still can't come to terms with it. People calling earth as dirt. Dirt is trash, isn't it? Yes or no? Even in America, dirt is trash? No? Something that you don't want. But soil, here we call it Thai Mannan, Mother Earth. And when I hear this word dirt, I've heard it 1,000 times, but still something cringes in me. Once you make the source of your life a commodity, your father, mother, children, wife, husband become commodities, is not far away, it's a natural consequence. You don't have to do it, anyway it'll happen.
So in the session we just attended here at the Economic Forum, I think there was a sense of relief actually in your frankness. You brought up some issues that others are reluctant to bring up.
Always. All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls, I want less on the planet. In the evolutionary scale of things, it took millions of years to get them there. 70% of that life we have wiped out. If you don't wake up now, well, the planet may decide to put a lot of us to sleep.
Are you spinning the planet or is it spinning by itself? You doing nothing. Doing nothing, just tidbits, everything vital is just being done. Yes or no? Everything that's vital to life is being done. You just have to sit here and just enjoy the spin. For that, how many problems? So, this is a land which clearly understood God is our making. That's the reason why in this culture God is not the goal. Mukti is the goal, liberation is the goal, ultimate freedom is the goal. God is never the goal. Yes or no? You don't like it, because you've forgotten. Otherwise, mukti is the goal, isn't it? Mukti means what? Liberation, freedom from everything, including God. You don't know when this entire solar system is going to fall apart. Maybe it's tomorrow morning, do you know? Do you know whether it is going to fall apart tomorrow morning or not? Do you know? You don't know when you'll fall dead, you don't know when it's going to happen, but it's all right. But if you are that kind of a mind which is looking for faith, you know everything, not just here. Beyond death, where you will go, what kind of accommodations you will get there, you know the works. This kind of knowing is what needs to go. We need to outsource our resources from at least another 3 planets Earths. We need at least 3 more planets. We could do that. It's just that they aren't there. If they were there, no problem, we could have gone and towered one planet close to us and used that planet. But there isn't any other. So till we find such one, it's good to hold your reproduction, isn't it? Till we find extra planets where we can export our people. It's good to hold back your reproduction, otherwise nobody is going to live well on this planet. This is not a campaign against children. This is a campaign for the future children. If future generations have to live well, we have to conduct our lives consciously. Conducting our life consciously, one major part of it is right now, because you can't expand the planet, you have to decrease the population. There is no other way. Either you do it or nature will do it. When nature does it, it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice at all.
Le animamos a que aprenda más y lleve a cabo estas acciones con nosotros, para que todos respondamos al llamado de Dios, expresado a través del clamor de este mundo.
For this reason, Laudato Si is a landmark work of church teaching that brings together science, theology, and social action to deal with much more than just the environment. It seeks to create an integral ecology in which all that is sacred is considered and cherished. What does the document say, and why is it important for every person on earth? This is Catholicism in focus. We as a human species have committed many sins against nature, against God, and against one another, greedily consuming more than we need, wasting precious resources meant for the good of all. In the opening chapter of the encyclical, he addresses many of them by name: atmospheric pollutants, dangerous residues, increased global temperatures, sea level rise, extreme weather events, contaminated water, scarcity of water, the acidification of soil and water, deforestation, extinctions of thousands of species, overfishing, erosion of coral reefs, and the overall loss of biodiversity, to name just a few. But of course, as Francis writes, human beings too are creatures of this world. This is a far cry from what Pope Francis calls the gospel of creation. In chapter 2 of his letter, he looks to the biblical accounts of creation, the Judeo-Christian approach to the mystery of the universe, the life of Jesus, and the social tradition of the Catholic Church to teach an invaluable truth. We are meant to be among and for creation as its caretaker, not above it as its Lord. Humanity was never given unlimited authority to do whatever it pleased with the earth. Amassing excess private property at the expense of others is not the will of God. The earth is a gift meant for all, to be cared for by all. Meaning that the resources of the earth must be shared equitably, but also that the resources of the earth should be properly respected in their own right. We are meant to see all of creation as our brothers and sisters, as beings in relationship with God.
Dear brothers and sisters, the annual United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, ended in Glasgow a few days ago with unsatisfactory gains. Without losing hope, let us continue to walk with the vulnerable and work more vigorously in advocacy with decision makers for policy reform in favor of climate justice. Without waiting for political leaders to act, let us do what we must. As a responsible citizen of this planet, let us together commit to do our part to care for our common home.
The page layout now, this is where I break down. I love it that Pope Francis is, the way he writes is every numbered section is just one paragraph. And so if you break that down to one per spread and pair it with an image and a narrative in a short caption, you can now just more richly bring his message to life.
And I always start a lot of my lectures and things with this image, which is known as Earth Disk, and it was taken from the Apollo 17 mission. And it was the first time that we'd ever seen a picture of our planet from outside of ourselves. And so looking back, Apollo 17 turns around and takes this image as it's leaving Earth's atmosphere and heading towards outer space. And I think it's striking, and it's obviously beautiful. And one of the things that I think we don't think enough about is how, as Carl Sagan said, all of humanity, all of the history of our species, of all of our societies have happened in this location, all of it right here. And that seems like a big thing to think about, but I also think it's an important big thing to think about as we consider how we do a better job of stewarding creation. So to define our common home, obviously Earth is our common home, as I just said. But we can think about our common home, I think, in scale. So Earth would be the largest scale. I think that we could all agree that we're part of. What we know about our common home is that our common home provides for all. And I capitalized all here because I want this to be thought of as completely encompassing as we can possibly make it. That includes all the peoples of the earth, all the organisms of the earth, and including the smallest of small and the largest of large. And so it's really an important thing for us to think holistically about the environment and not think about ourselves outside of it. I remember the first summer that I was at St. Joe's, I went to I was interested in learning about Catholic social teaching, having been educated in secular schools and universities my entire life. And there was a seminar given at Villanova, and it was about humans and the environment and Catholic social teaching, which sort of predates the major work that the church has done since then. But one of the things that, and one of my colleagues from philosophy stood up and talked about these different planes of existence for humans and then all the other creatures on the earth. And I realized that when this person put humans above all the other creatures of the earth and the environment. And I'm not a philosopher. I have never taken a philosophy course, which is a bit of a shame for myself and something that I wish I had the opportunity to do as a student. But it struck me that right there became one of the problems that exist, I think, for how humans interact with the natural world. And in that we see ourselves standing outside of it quite a bit. And I was raised in Appalachia on a farm where we grew food and animals, and we were hunters and outdoors people and fishermen and all of these things. And we had a deep connection to the land. And that deep connection to the land made me see that I was a part of that. not an outsider looking in. And so I really encourage you to think about the interconnectedness. And one of the things that I think we need to recognize too is that while the natural world can sustain us all and does sustain us all, it has limitations. And so there must be a way that we interact with the natural world so that we can ensure that it will sustain and provide for all in the future. And that is a large question right now, with a big question mark at the end. Is it going to be possible for our common home to provide for all in the future? And the answer is still waiting to be gotten. We don't know, to be quite honest. And I say that with not tongue in cheek in any way. I really truly believe that we face an existential crisis as we look at what's happening with our current environmental conditions of the world. And one of the things that I think is really important is the next question leads us to that I want to walk through is, why do we need to care for our common home? And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And notice that I keep this image of Earth up there because I want it to be very much present in your forethoughts as you're hearing this information today.
Pope Francis talks about a globalization of indifference. And I think that's an accurate description of where we are. We consume without an awareness of what we're doing to the environment, without an awareness of what we're doing to people on the other side of the globe.
The economic model by which just about every major institution in the United States, and I would say globally, abides, is one of vast economic growth. It is a growth model. It is not a steady state economic model that would allow us to find more environmental sanity than we're experiencing now. You don't have to be Catholic to read the Pope's encyclical on ecology and think it's a good thing. You can read it and see it's the right thing. It's the moral thing to do.
To this first objective, the Laudato Si platform adds 6 others, namely advancement towards an ecological economy, the adoption of sustainable lifestyles, ecological education, deepening of a spirituality that nourishes the search of ecological balance, community commitment, and active citizenship for the preservation of the environment.